Hey guys, how are you doing? Today is another Friday, July 29th, and I think a lot of investor is happy on the performance of the stock market because in the past 4 days and at least 3 days, the performance of the Dow Jones and Nasdaq is okay, right? And today we are going to talk about a little bit on the performance of the quarterly report of MasterCard, and then this is awesome, right? This is awesome, and we have discussed that no matter is MasterCard or Visa, they both performs well, right? And a lot of people saying that they are the loser after the pandemic, and then it proved that that's bullshit. And a lot of people, investors saying in between, because of the lockdown, said the winner, and then the winner 1 year before, and the winner later on will be PayPal or Square, and then it didn't happen. No matter is because of the pandemic is nearly over, or Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is also nearly over, right? It dropped a lot. So actually, MasterCard is never the loser in the pandemic. Neither Visa. They are still the long-term winner, right? So we will briefly introduce on their quarterly result, and we will discuss in detail of Visa and MasterCard in our Hong Kong Pay program because we have those stocks and I have those stocks as well, right? And our Falcon portfolio being increased that performs a little bit better, right? 29 months then is increased from initially 35,000 to 54,000 and increased it 55% in, I think it should be 30 months already. So if you want me to analyze any stock and then or any other subjects that I can, so you can leave your message under the YouTube, or you can directly email to me by Usstockmarketweekly@gmail.com. And then this is our Falcon 350,000 portfolio. We are in between for these 30 months. Nasdaq's performance is 57% and our portfolio performance is 54%. So today we are going to talk about MasterCard, and also the Visa is never the loser in the pandemic. They are not the loser in the pandemic. So yesterday, Dow Jones rised, wow, 332 points yesterday, and just about 10% to the peak. And then the Nasdaq, it also rised, not as 1 day before, 400 points, right? But yesterday, it also rised at 130 points, and it's about 4,000 points to the peak. It is a little bit far because that is 30%. I don't think that Nasdaq will rise further 30% this year. I don't think so. Right? And this is the reason. At the left-hand corner is 1 week before. The US 10-year Treasury yield is 2.897%. But yesterday, 2.66%. So the stock market rise back. And I think the maximum is 3.0 something, right? For the 10 years Treasury yield, I think that may be the peak already. Some headlines. Now a lot of people in the whole world is discussing about Pelosi visiting Taiwan in August. And yesterday, President Xi have video conference with Biden, and I did not follow the whole real-time conference, right? It is about 10 o'clock at night in Hong Kong, right? But after that, I read the news and not a lot of things, right? And they are just dressing for the old saying. Biden said, okay, we will continue the one China policy, no matter, even though Pelosi visiting Taiwan. And then President Xi is saying that don't do that, right? And he is quite strong words on that. So we are a little bit worried about that they will start a war, right, in the Southern Sea, right? And then China is quite strong on that and saying that if Pelosi is visiting Taiwan, then they may raise a flight, raise an aircraft on that for the, I don't know how to say, right? He didn't say that. He didn't say that there will be a fight. And President Xi or China's representative only said that there will be a strong reward, something like that. And on Biden or even Pelosi, right? On August, then she will visiting on her itinerary. She will visit South Korea, Japan, and other countries, right? Taiwan is on the pending. We don't know what happened. Maybe she will still visit Taiwan, then I don't know. So stay sharp. And S&P 500 futures rise after strong Apple and Amazon reports, right? And Amazon, as I predict, is because of the AWS. Wholly because of the AWS. Because now the data center is just like a shopping mall before. If you want to do the business, you have to have a shopping mall to rent a place before, and now you have to rent the data center, so the people can reach you through the internet. And then Apple's iPhone is doing great, although the sales in China is dropping. So actually, we will have a very details analyze on at least on Apple. I don't know if I will analyze Amazon, but I will try my best, right? So that is heading for a winning week, right? Okay, then we will take some time on MasterCard, right? We have MasterCard and Visa stock in our portfolio, and I have mine as well. If you take a look on the MasterCard's stock price history, you can clearly see that she didn't drop, nearly no jobs during the pandemic, though. Actually, she did, but only 10%, right? Only 10%. She only dropped 10% from the peak. The peak is 399, about 10 or 12%. Don't argue with me, right? And the PE ratio now is 36 with a little bit dividend, 0.56%. And this is the new quarterly result, right? Just issued it one day. So there are two parts. One part is for 3 months ending June 30, and then another is 6 months. So we analyze both, then we can very easily see that for the net revenue, for 3 months, if you compare in the same period 1 year before, increased at 21.4%. And if you compare the same time but 1 year before for 6 months, increased at 22.8%, the same. That means the increment is the same, right? And for the operating expense, just 13, very good keeping. Very good keeping. Because a lot of company, why they lose? Because of the inflation, because of the salary of the human power. So a lot of company lost because the operating expense increased very sharply. But sorry, that didn't happen in Visa card. So you can see that the operating expense is only 13.35 for both 3 months or 6 months. So for the net income, we can see that for 6 months, increased at 26%. But for 3 months, increased at 10%. Why it happened is because 1 year before, for January, February or March, that time is very serious in USA. So the recovery, very important. The amount is very big. But after that, in the May and in June, not as worse 1 year before of the pandemic as last year. So you can see that actually we can use that about 10% for normal after the most serious time increment of MasterCard. But you just remember this, for half year, the net income should increase at 26%. And this is about the asset, right? And then there are two kinds of asset. One kind is the current asset, another is the total asset. So we can see that the total current asset decreased at 10.25%, mainly because of the cash. Mainly you can see because of the cash. 5921 compared to end of last year, 7421, right? We know that because at the time it need to spend the cash and the income is not so good, right? And then for the total asset, right, that means you count about the property, goodwill, and the tax, blah, 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 blah. She just decreased at 3.8% for half year. I think that is okay, right? So the main part is the liability and the redeemable non-controlling interest and equity. So we can see that then we skip about the current liability. The main point we need to take a look is the account payable, very small one. You can see that 633 is in the million. 6333 compared to 738, very small, right? So we take a look on the long-term debt, right? Increased a little bit, but not much, right? 13746 billion, then 13109 billion, not much. And then the total liability compared with 1 year before, half year before, it's decreased at 0.95%. That means nearly no change. So we will not worry on that, the financial situation. So I have made a rough summary on that, right? It's a rough summary. The net income for 1 year, after we project the half year to 1 year, the net income of MasterCard will be 9.8 billion US dollar. And then the net income increment for half year is 26%, right? And the cash plus the account receivable is another 9 billion, right? And the long-term debt is 17.5 billion US dollar. So we do not need to worry about the financial situation of MasterCard, right? And we are talking about if the PE ratio is reasonable or not, because the half-year net income increase rate is 26, and then the PE ratio now is 36, a little bit high, but I think it's still reasonable, because 26 net income increment rate compared to PE ratio 36 is not, you cannot expect it to be 26, right? Because the market will give the premium and the goodwill to MasterCard, all right? That means that people think that it performs well and it recover. So the market will have a positive look on MasterCard. That positive look is the premium to the PE. So if the net income rate is 26, the increment is 26, and the PE ratio is 36, is not serious. Unless the PE ratio become 52, then it's too high, right? So there are other important data, right? Like the payable customer, how many or payable customer increased in the state, in worldwide, what is the effect of the Russia or the Ukraine on MasterCard, right? Then we will have more detailed analysis in our Hong Kong pay program. So if you're interested in that, then you can turn into our Hong Kong pay program, then you will see that, right? So I have also listed for Visa, you can see the stock price history. Quite very similar to MasterCard, right? We explained it before. So you can see that actually for Visa, during the whole pandemic, the peak is 252 and now is 211. just about 16% decrease from the peak. That is okay during the pandemic already, right? And those are the grade A students during the pandemic, and their result are very disappointing, right? We can see that PayPal and the price and the stock price drops back to before the pandemic, even lower than the pandemic, right? And for Block is Square, a new name, right? Previously is Square, the same story, right? The rises from the sea is because of the lockdown and the pandemic. And at the time, a lot of people saying that, okay, then they will replace MasterCard, Visa card. And then the key factor is because of the cryptocurrency, right? Especially for Block, that means Square before. And I think the cryptocurrency is gone, right? We can see that the Bitcoin, and no matter it's Bitcoin or the Dogecoin, right? So I hope PayPal or Block will not cause you a lot of losses, right? So I already dumped the PayPal some time ago, and it did cause some loss to my portfolio, but just 1 or 2%, right? So I hope will not cause you a lot of losses, but some like Katie Wood did, right? She invested quite a lot on Block, right? Zoom, something like that. Then after the pandemic, then it's just like the flower in the water, right? Everything is not real. After the pandemic, then everything becomes reality. And then I insist, no, I will not dump Visa or Visa card unless I saw their performance report. And in between, they performs not very good, but not bad. So insist. If you want to enjoy the compound interest, you have to insist. Everything you should rely or depends on the financial report, not what the internet, or not even though it's Powell, not what they said. Everything rely on the performance report, right? So that's what I usually did. Okay, so we share up till here, and please give us a like, comment, and then share to your friends. And if you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe. Press the subscribe button and then the bell icon next to it. So whenever there's new video uploaded, YouTube will inform you. Okay, today is another Friday, and I hope everyone have a very peaceful weekend. See you next week. Bye bye.